have to smell this delicious cooking for the next 2 hours. It's so...
We'll save some for you for later.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Do so, please. Now, I am very much into, like, people talk about price, and this is a low price, and that's one thing. For me, it's always about value. What am I getting for the price I am paying? And the older I get, the more I am willing to pay a little more if I'm getting lifetime quality, right? Paid a decent chunk of change for my Dyson, for my Vitamix, but darn, those brands are so good.
Right.
The same can be said for Le Creuset. There is a reason why this brand lives on every bridal registry, on every new apartment or homeowner's wish list. It's a must-have. You're a foodie, you gotta have Le Creuset. And what I love about their pieces, in addition to their longevity, the cast iron, the enameling, that even heat distribution, what I love is that almost any piece you have from Le Creuset does a million different things.
That's right.
Which is why I actually have a second bone to pick now I think about it. It's called a soup pot, but Greg, it's so much more than that.
Right, it is. You know, this is full on a Dutch oven, what we're known for, right? Our cast iron Dutch oven, that heat retention, that heat distribution that we've known for almost 100 years, that performs just like you said. But the reason that we called it a soup pot is because it has some characteristics that you want to have when you're making soup. When you do a pot, you notice it slopes down. So a lot of our Dutch ovens kind of go straight down, right?
Yes.
And they just slope down a little bit at the very end. This one actually is almost wok shaped, where it kind of curves down. And the reason for that is you want your soups, you want your stews, your chili in this thing. You want everything to kind of roll and keep moving, so none of those pieces get stuck down there, and that's why. But other than that, use it full on as a Dutch oven. So while we're saying that, we're gonna make a beautiful ragu, and notice that same beautiful sand enamel. We have our cerise color right here, the ombre color, and we're gonna add some ingredients. Oh, you wanna go ahead and...
Yeah, I feel like I should do these colors
right now. That's a must too.
I'm going back to what I said at the beginning of the show, which is, oh, by the way, Le Creuset, you don't need me to like really bring home, reinforce the quality of the brand. My job here is price reminder, because Le Creuset simply is never under $200. In fact, at lecreuset.com, right now, you can check, it's $330 for this soup pot right here, the soup pot that does a million things. We took it under $200, and then we reduced 2 of our colors even lower because we have a few more of them. So yay for us. This black is called licorice. We have it in Marseille, the classic red, cerise. This is artichoke, and it is one of our further reduced prices. Also reduced, and I'm kind of surprised by that. Yep. All right, here we go. Only 3 dozen remain in the meringue, and that one is also $189. That's probably why Emma's hanging around right now. Off to my left, because she's going to take that one off the set here in just a couple of seconds. Yep, she said
it's happening.
All right, Greg, I already love it if I only ever made gumbo in it, okay?
Well,
but you know I will. But
everyone's got their favorites.
Yes.
But the whole idea behind Dutch oven cooking is slow cooking, getting that braise, getting things to break down. Now, all we did in here, we took our chuck pork, or I'm sorry, our chuck beef. We cooked this in here, we browned it off, and that sand enamel really helps enable that caramelization that you want to help develop those flavors. So when I add our liquid, when I add our stock, when I add our tomato sauce, all that great flavor is gonna come right off the bottom. We call that fond, all those brown bits. And when I stir all this up, I'm gonna add my tomato sauce in here. And then the last thing we're gonna add in here, after we added the stock and some red wine for flavor, we're gonna add just a little bit of tomato paste, and then we're gonna call it a day. The tomato paste is kind of a must that you wanna have in there. That gives the richness and the thickness to the sauce. Now, the one thing that you wanna keep in mind too, this one, instead of having the cast iron lid, we've actually got a glass lid for this one. Same lip, we wanted to make sure that lip fits perfectly on each pot, but this is gonna go right on, Jen. And then notice also the glass lid, so it's a cook and look lid, so this is great, especially if you're making your soups. You can kind of see what's doing in there, and that's great, whether it's in your oven or not. And there's also a little vent hole here too. So a lot of times when you put something that doesn't have a lot of weight on it, it has a tendency to pop up and down. So we put this little vent hole right here so that if you can see it, that it's going to vent out, so you're not going to have that. Also, and I think you and I talked about this too, a little bit easier for you to manage around the kitchen. If you're, sometimes our Dutch ovens, they carry a little bit of weight, especially when they're loaded with food. But we've got these easy loop handles right here, and you can take this right off, and it's much less heavy.
It's lighter.
It's a lot lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and take our other one out of the oven here. My gosh, this smells amazing. And just watch when I pull this out. Don't want to burn my hands off this. Now this cooked for about 3 hours at only about 270 degrees. So again, that slow and low process. let me take some tongs on this first and just show you how this meat, this beef, has cooked down. All that flavor stayed in because that lid kept it all in there.
We lost the meringue, guys. Emma, where'd you go?
Here's our ragu. Look, I'm gonna make it over there.
Come on now.
It falls apart.
Oh,
it
it
is
smells
rich. It is
so
decadent.
good.
And Jen, all you had to do was sear this off. That caramelization happens, you know, when you're using the sand enamel in here. You add all your ingredients, and then the pot does all the work. And that's the difference about performance. You talked about the quality, and this is gonna last forever. It's an heirloom piece. But when you cook on this cast iron versus any other material, whether it's aluminum or stainless steel, no comparison at all. It's that heat.
That's a really good point. Like, it lasts forever. The food doesn't taste all that great, but it lasts forever. Like, that doesn't work,
no,
right?
It doesn't.
The only like relevance to something lasting forever is if it's also the best at what it does.
Yeah.
Any cook or chef or foodie will tell you that you're only as good as the tools that you have, right?
That's in anything, right? But
that's true.
Quality ingredients and quality cookware as well. Hey, just real quick, my fries are talking to me. They're telling me I need to talk about this. But that heat distribution is not only great for the stovetop when you're searing off things, but if you want to deep fry, this is the perfect material to actually deep fry with. Cast iron holds heat. It doesn't let it down. And the reason that people have fry failures, which means they greasy food, is because they put their food in there, the temperature dropped, and it soaked up all that oil. This doesn't, these are frozen fries that I put in here, and it barely dropped the temperature of the oil at all, so it's going to keep these fries super crispy. So if you're doing fried chicken, you're doing pot stickers, you're doing anything, and you never wanted to, you know, deep fry at your house because you didn't have a deep fryer, you don't need one. And take a look at that. It's a great way to see that shape.
Yeah, I feel
nice
we're getting some really beautiful
shape.
overhead shots, but I want everybody to see the depth of this and the capacity of it. This is not the world's largest Le Creuset. And that is a good thing, because for those of you who are doing day-to-day cooking for 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, this is perfection. And if you're only ever, you make rice in it one day. It doesn't have to be all the fancy things, right? But you'll be amazed by how many different tools in your kitchen it will replace. And then we also have to talk about the artisanship of Le Creuset. I know we have video to show you too, but like they are still, they don't make them like they used to, except with Le Creuset.
That's right. And you know, we're coming up on 100 years. In the same foundry, I know David was just there. He had the opportunity to go visit the foundry. But 100 years, the craftsmanship, 16 sets of craftsmen touch every single one. Now you're seeing that black mold. Each one is individually made in the black mold that gets destroyed. They get multiple coats of that base layer of the enamel. Then it gets their color. There you see the cerise going on, multiple colors, and you're going to see the ombre. So from the bottom up, it's going to come in the ombre color, which makes it truly, truly unique. And you know, again, that lifetime warranty on these pots. They last you for generations. You'll be able to hand these off to your kids if you want to.
Like for $1.99, I feel like, you know, like diners will do throwback pricing on a burger and it's 10 cents because that's what it was in 1950. Like, this is a throwback price on Le Creuset. This is the licorice, Marseille is your blue, cerise is the red, and the only one we have remaining that's $1.89 is the artichoke, the beautiful green, K86962. I know a lot of people often ask, like, what happens to all that food? Trust me, it's gonna get eaten.
You think chili fries are not gonna get eaten?
Fries.
Here we go. Freshly made, crispy fries, some chili that we slow cooked. We actually cooked this chili in the oven, believe it or not. We pulled after.
So it's like a slow cooker too.
It was a slow cooker too, right? So after all the beef was finished cooking, we actually shredded it up, added all our other ingredients, and then we cooked it again in the second time in the oven.
You've inspired us again. Chef Greg, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Chili fries are up, guys. Anybody wants to line up. Our today's special value is coming up next. Guys, where's my blazer? I'll see you in a second.